Welcome back. We've just figured out how we can make this outline thicker. Now in this video, we'd like to give these items a sort of color tint. So that way we can tint each type of item based on its rarity. So let's begin. Now here in post-process highlight, after we've gotten the sum of the custom depth values of the surrounding texels for each texel, we then sum them up and have this value here, which we then subtract 10 million from, and then run through a seal in a clamp node, resulting in a value that's 0 if the pixel is on a mesh, and 1 if the pixel is on the background and the border. Now, if we take this and drag it off and do a 1 minus node, then the result of this is 1 if the pixel is on the mesh, not including the border. So let's do a comment here and say 1 pixel on mesh, parentheses, not including border. Now we can take this and multiply it by a color. So let's do that. We'll drag off, use a multiply node, and hold down the 3 key so we can make a color and plug it in. Now we can go ahead and just select a color for now, doesn't matter which, while we're developing. Now the result of this multiplication gives us pixels that are 1 on the mesh, not including the border, and 0 if we're not on the item or we're on the border, and this is multiplied by the color. So we can take this value and drag it all the way to the end here. And we can multiply this by the output of our lerp. So let's take the output for the lerp, use a multiply node, and we can multiply these together. Now, if we're on a pixel that's not on the mesh or the border, then we'll simply have 0. And if we're on the mesh, not including the border, we'll have 1. Multiplying this by the output of the lerp will give us the scene color of just the interior pixels of the mesh and nothing else. So what this is essentially is pixels on the mesh, not including the border, tinted by the color. Now let's go ahead and create another lerp. So I'm going to select this one, copy it, and paste it right here. Now for the alpha, I want to use this 1 minus x node, where 1 is a pixel on the mesh, not including the border. Now for A, I'm going to use the result of the first lerp. That's going to be when alpha is 0. And for B, we're going to use the result of this multiply, which is pixels on the mesh tinted by the color. So in other words, A is just what we had before. But when alpha is 1, which is just on the mesh without the border, then we're using this tinted colors, which should come out sort of pink. Let's plug this into emissive color, and we'll see how this looks. Go ahead and hit apply, and go back to the map, and there we have it. Our mesh is tinted by our color. Now we have color tinting for our items. Okay, that's going to conclude this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about how we can give different meshes different colors. So stay tuned.